5 signs you are moving down the right path in life. I'm going to explain what that means, the right path, because that's open to interpretation, and also what these 5 signs are that you are moving down, what that interpretation of the right path is. So that's coming up next. Hi there, my name is Dave, and this is HeartSpace if you're new to the channel, where we are creating videos almost every single day from my heart to yours that are going to help you live life in your way. For me, that's living a fulfilled life, a life from your heart, a life from your heart space. And if you want more videos that are going to help you to do that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and bell icon down below. Now, like I said, in today's video, we're going to be going over 5 signs you are going down the right path. Now, the right path can mean many different things, but to me, it means the path that truly resonates with your heart, the path your soul is leading you down. No other path, not some path that was given to you or some path you were told you were supposed to go down by, all of these people that maybe don't have your best interest at heart, or even do have your best interest at heart, but don't know what's going on within you. And so that's what we're talking about, your heart path, your soul path, how to know that's what you're moving towards. So we're going to get into that. Also, guys, I mentioned this a lot, but right now my course, A Day Well Lived, is going to help you with a lot of these things and many of the things we discuss in these videos. And right now it is absolutely free for a limited time. So check it out in the description. We already have a bunch of people in there gaining a lot from it, and you'll be able to interact with them once you're in the course, but it's absolutely free to get in. I will link that in the description and in the comments. Anyway, let's get into the very first one, starting in reverse order with number 5. So we'll start off with a very simple one, and number 5, the number 5 one for how to know if you're going down the right path is you're going to experience a lot of synchronicities. For me, synchronicities are positive confirmations that you're going along the right path. It's almost like the universe giving you these little things coming your way, these little positive confirmations that you're heading in the right direction. Now, it can also work the reverse. One way to know you're not on the right path is you get a bunch of negative synchronicities. Like all of these so-called negative things seem to happen time and time again, one after another, almost in a synchronistic way, because energy can work both ways. Again, the universe will give back what you are giving it. It doesn't really care which one you give it. It's just going to do that. But if you are seeing these positive confirmations, these synchronicities come into your life all of the time, it is an absolutely big sign that you are heading down the right path. Because if you're heading down your soul path, more often than not, you're going to get these positive synchronicities. Good things are going to come your way for the most part. Now, there's obviously parts along your path that are going to involve perhaps dark nights of the soul. They're going to involve, a lot of growth where you might have to transcend certain things. But for the most part, you are going to experience these positive synchronicities happening. In my life right now, I'm noticing positive synchronicities, these positive confirmations happening on a daily basis. And it's how I know that, great, my energy is moving in the direction I'm meant to be moving in. I'm going along the path I'm meant to be going down. And I use that as an indicator to keep going in the direction I'm moving in. And so if you are experiencing this, again, an amazing sign that you are going down the right path. Let's get into number 4. So number 4, I call inner sabotage attempts. And what I mean by this is you have to understand that when you are moving down a more soul path, or you're moving down a new path that's more aligned to your soul and heart, your old story, the one that was having you move down a path that wasn't really that great for you, or one that was just maybe given to you, your old story is going to kick and fight to keep you along that old path and not move along this new path, or what we consider the right path in the context I've given you. And why is that? Because the old story understands, the old identity understands that it is going to die if you continue along that right path. If you move from your soul and move along that heart path. Your old story, you can call your ego, whatever we want to call it, your old identity that identifies you as this small, limited person that's this way and that way. And because you're this way and that way, you have to stay in your lane, that this identity has to stay down. You get love for this, and that, and therefore you have to stay here and not go down the other path that says you're infinite and can be anything and connect to source and all these different things. But you have to understand that old identity and story is going to fight for its life. I wouldn't expect any less, but if you are feeling that that's what's going on, you are feeling that this old story, this old identity is fighting. There's almost like this inner sabotage. You have this voice out of nowhere. It's like, oh man, you don't do that. That's too much of a risk. Why would you take that risk? Or, you know what? Yeah, sure, this job's stressful, but we get good benefits. Or yeah, you know what? This person I'm with, they're not the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, or I have this friend that he kind of sucks or whatever. But you know what? They did that one good thing that one time. You know, you remember at that thing. You know, they did that thing. So you know what? Just keep doing it, right? It will almost argue everything to keep you within your comfort zone instead of expanding, which would be going down your heart path, right? And so when this is happening, understand it's very, very normal. When you make a change, this old identity, this old story will kick up. It will have a tantrum. But also understand that that's a good sign. You know, the old story needs to become smaller. It needs to almost die for you to move into that new path. And so it will kick and scream for a while until eventually that voice will be so small, so soft that it won't even be much of an influence, and you'll know exactly what it is. You know, it's like having the two, you know, like the angel and the devil on your shoulder kind of deal, and then the one, you know, like the devil's like trying to convince you to go down this old path, and the angel's, you know, convincing you to go down the path that your heart more aligns with. And really, the one that becomes bigger and the one becomes smaller is depending on which you give your focus to. You know, if you give in to the devil whispering in your ear, you know, again, not the literal devil, but like, you know, in this analogy, the little devil on your ear, whispering to you, and it's saying, you know, stay in this path, you know, stay in this job you hate, you know, stay with this person that obviously isn't a match, you know, stay with these people that aren't good for you, you know, keep eating the bad food, don't work out, you know, why would you do that? You know, and it's very good at convincing you. It will give you a lot of good arguments. But the more you focus on that and feed it, the bigger it will grow, while the smaller the angel on your shoulder will grow. But if you start listening to this side, the one that's telling you to go down your soul path, your heart, whatever else it is, this is the one that will grow, and this one will become smaller. But understand, if this is happening, that old story, which is this one right here, is trying to convince you to stay in the old story. Of course it wants you to. It wants to feed. It wants to grow. It wants to continue to live, so to speak. So it's going to fight. But if that's happening, you know, don't stress it. It's a good thing. It means that you are going along the right path, and it's not liking it. It's kicking and screaming. It really desperately wants you to get back on that old pathway. But just stick to it. Stick to that path you know is resonating in your heart, and everything is going to be okay. Number 3 is simply resonance. If a certain path resonates with you, there is a reason for it. So for example, maybe something is just so exciting to you, and you don't even know why, but it's just exciting to you. It's not exciting because of what you think you'll get or any of these other things. It's exciting because it just speaks to you. It lights a fire in your heart. It's just something that really just gets you excited. It resonates with you. If a certain pathway, a certain thing resonates with you, and again, not from here, but from here, because we get a lot of, you know, head excitement in a sense. You know, get excited about this thing because it might earn us some money and it might do this, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to a life path, a path that you're going to go down for probably a very long time, until maybe another path becomes available, or that leads to something else. You never know what's going to happen when you go around that bend in the river. But if it's coming from your heart, and it's like just telling you, man, you need to just go off and do this, and you just resonate with that so much. And this can happen on a small and a big scale, by the way. This could be something as small as just what you're gonna do next in your day. Like, am I gonna meditate, or am I gonna go, you know, watch Netflix, right? Which one is truly more exciting to your heart? To your head, it might be the Netflix, right? Because it's like, ooh, more ways to distract, more ways to get sucked into other people's agendas, yeah. And then your heart's like, oh, meditation, more way to connect to what I truly am, more way to connect to myself, more way to see the truth of what actually is going on in the universe, all these different things, right? So it's going to be two completely different feelings. But when you're feeling that resonation, that intuitive pull from something to go towards something, and that gets you excited, that is a huge sign that is the path you should go down. And if you're on a path that's already doing that for you, it's a very good indicator that you're on the right one. You know, for example, I'll give you an example for me. Every morning I do a practice called Remember the Future, which is essentially it's a speaking into existence type of practice. It's similar to a visualization, but you're essentially doing it out loud. And so I will be doing it out loud, and I'll be discussing things about like the growth of HeartSpace, and like all these practices I'm doing, and what I'm doing for my body to take care of it, and you know, the inner work I'm doing, and all this different stuff. And I get so excited. You know, I start talking about it, and all these other ideas come in, and I'm just like pumped. I'm like, oh my God, I can create this thing. You know, I can do this thing. You know, what would happen if I meditated in this way, and oh, I've been doing Wim Hof all the time. You know, and I'm talking about this. I've been looking after my body, showing it love, and I'm just getting so unbelievably excited about it. You know, I'm so in the flow when I'm doing it. And if you can get like that about a particular thing, and you're hooking into it, because you can't really fake that. You know what I mean? You can't get excited about something you're not truly inwardly excited about. And so if you're getting that way about something, like I do when I think about creating things on this channel, when I think about growing things on this channel, being able to contribute, being able to grow myself into becoming someone who's deserving of you guys watching the videos, into growing into someone more and more that people want to learn from, not because I'm just saying things, but because my beingness exudes what I'm talking about, because my beingness and the results I'm getting are in alignment with what I'm talking about, right? You know, that gets me really excited to create things that help people, to create things that help me grow, that allow me to express myself, what's coming through me. You know, that's just something that's, you know, it's just amazing to me, right? And that is a huge sign. If you have something like that in your life, you know, you might feel that way about music. You know, you pick up a guitar, you go on the piano, and it's just, oh my God, it's exciting. And when you play, you are just so in flow and you are hooked into it, and it just resonates so much with your heart. Your heart is singing with you when you're singing or you're playing guitar or an instrument, or you're painting or something. And it's just like, oh my God, I feel so good when I do this thing. I mean, what more evidence do you need that is something you probably should put more and more into, right? That's the right path for you. So see what resonates with you. This is inner technology, inner guidance that is there for a reason, and every single person has it. So I implore you to use it. Number 2, guys, might be a bit related to what we're already talking about, but it's that you want to take a massive leap, or you're being led to a massive leap from your heart. A lot of times people will not take leaps because it's the unknown. It's the bend in the river, right? You know, when you're going straight down the river of life and you can see everything, you're like, wow, following my heart is super easy. You know, I don't have to make any changes, but boom, here comes a bend. And you're trying to look around that bend and you can't see, you have no idea what's on the other side of that bend. There's rocks in the way, there's trees over here on the bank. You can't see what's over there. This is when people, a lot of times, will become scared. This is when they allow fear to grip them because their comfort zone is about to expand. And if they follow that path that the universe is leading them down, it will expand. And it can be scary, but it can also be one of the most rewarding things that you ever do. And so if you feel like you're going along a path, you're flowing down that river, right? And you've chosen a path in the river that the universe has just led you to, and it's like, it's the right one. You know, we're just flowing nicely. And then boom, there's that bend. There's that opportunity to take a leap of faith. You know, there's that opportunity to take that leap, you know, like it's like, oh, you know what? The universe just keeps telling me I need to quit that job. Or you know what? The universe is telling me that I want to be with this person. Or you know what? I shouldn't be with this person. Or you know what? I want to move to that country. Or you know what? I want to try and start that business. And there are these big, massive, like almost life leaps. But it's coming from your heart. And it's just that next bend around the river. Then you know you're on the right path. Because the right path will always lead you to the unknown. The right path will always lead you to the one that's going to flow with life, not against it. Guess what? The path that most people choose, they choose for comfort and security. It's a path where, you know, so much is already known that there's no room for surprises. And to me, that's boring. Because not only do I want to see what life will give me back with what I give it, you know, that's exciting. It's getting more and more exciting. I still hold on a little bit to old patterns that make me want to always know, have expectations. But I'm getting to a point myself where it's like, oh my God, I don't even know what the universe is going to do with this, but I can't wait. I don't even know when it's going to happen. But all I know is the more I stick to my heart, amazing things that just come into my life that I could have never predicted. And when you are having more opportunities to take that leap of faith, to go around the bends in the river, more bends in the river are showing up for you, more leaps of faith are showing up for you, that's an unbelievable sign you are on the right path. Because guess what? If you're on a path where, you know, it's not the right one, and it's just the one people told you, those things won't even show up. They'll show up every now and then to give you an opportunity to get out of this slog you're in, this mundane pathway that you hate. There will always be opportunities that the universe will give you to take like these leaps to get out of it. However, if it's just like, you know, you're just seeing all these opportunities to do it, and it just the universe keeps bringing it to you, and you're just excitedly moving to these bends in the river, it's a great indicator that you're on the right path. You know, the universe will, you know, it will reward you so much for trusting the unknown. Again, I also want to say, and I'll preface this, but I also want to say is this has to be done from your heart. You should not just be taking leaps of faith because you think, oh, leaps of faith lead to good things. If it's a leap of faith from your head and you're using it as a strategy, then it's not really going to work. This has to be something that resonates with you, because then you're taking leaps of faith and you're like actually leaping off physical cliffs, and it's just not a good situation, right? You know, what it represents is you following your heart. And you know it's in your heart to take that leap of faith, and then because of that, you go through with it, right? So life is presenting you with all these opportunities to do so, it is a good sign you're on the right path. Because when you're on that right path, guess what? Change is going to happen. Change is going to be brought to you. Because to change, you have to leave your comfort zone. You have to go around that bend. You have to go around that bend with faith in the universe that it's going to bring you the best thing for you in that moment if you just stop holding on to that control and you release it to the universe. So there you go. That's a long-winded way of saying that, but essentially, if that is occurring, it is a good sign that you're on the right path and will continually move not only on the right path, but maybe even onto more and more right paths, if that makes sense, to be more and more in alignment with where the universe is leading you. And number one is what I like to call higher consciousness knowing. And I just came up with that term today. It's not like something I say a lot, but essentially what I mean by that is I think everyone, even people who are not yet aware that they're on a spiritual journey, because we all are, we're spiritual beings in a human body. Everyone, I think, has those moments of clarity where they realize something, where they kind of, their consciousness almost jumps up and they're in a moment where they're coming from love, or they're coming from peace, or they're coming from happiness, or they're coming from playfulness, or they're coming from gratitude. I think almost every single person will go through that at least a few times, right? Some people way more than others because they've cultivated that energy. They do the things that allow them to get to those energies. But, oh my God, are you okay? That's a falcon. What happened, buddy? Oh my God, okay. I'm gonna keep that in. I don't know if, you probably didn't see that. I don't know what just happened. I just heard a thump. I hope it didn't fly into our window. Did it? Okay, well, it flew away, so I don't think it's hurt. Hey, speaking of synchronicities, that was interesting. I think that was a falcon flew into our window and it was perched. Maybe you, it might have, I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch the footage back, but it perched right there and it looked at me for a solid 10 seconds and then flew away. That was really cool. I think it's all right. Anyway, I don't know where I was, but if I'm going to be interrupted, let it be by a falcon or something cool like that. That's interesting. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh man, I can't believe that. Oh yeah, higher consciousness knowing. Essentially, I think everyone has those moments, and when you are in these realms of higher consciousness, so let's say you're operating from love and you're operating from gratitude and whatever, and when you're in that consciousness, a certain path resonates with you or you're being drawn to a certain thing, then that's usually the right path for you. You know, the right path is not something you're probably going to be able to determine when you're operating from places of fear, anger, pride, or these lower emotions, guilt and shame. And so what I think a lot of times happens is people are held back because they're in those emotions and they're like, what is my life path? But your heart can't even come out in those moments, right? It's more your head. And so if you're on a path that when you're in those higher states, and for a lot of you, it might be you're in those higher states more often, that's definitely something to get to. But let's say you're in those higher states and you're looking at the path you're going down and you're like, yes, this is the path. And you're confirming that while in love, while in gratitude, while in these higher emotions, it usually is the right path, because there would be too much of a disconnect. There would be too much of an incongruence if you were elevating your emotion and energy to that state and then looked at your path and it wasn't the right path. You would be able to look at it and go, with that new heightened awareness at this different level of energy, look at it and go, you know what? There's something off about this path I'm going down. There's something I need to adjust. Maybe I need to change it completely. But if you're getting to those emotions, like this is why doing things like meditation and these practices, I'm still thinking about the falcon, but this is why doing these things like meditation and these practices is so essential, because what they do is they help bring you into those emotions of love and gratitude and abundance and all these different things. And when you're in those emotions and you're thinking about what you're doing and how you're going about things, you'll be able to see things much more from a crystal clear level. You'll be able to see things with more clarity and awareness and go and actually look at your life and be able to honestly look at it and go, am I going down the path that's right for me? And if you're in those emotions and you look at that and it resonates and you can honestly say yes, then you're going down the right path. And obviously if you do that and it's a no, then it's just about doing things in order to shift the path that you're on to more of one that's going to be coming from your heart. So I hope that makes sense. Anyway, guys, I'm all excited now. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video, for watching. Again, like, all of this is great, awareness and information, but for it to have an effect, you need to see where it'll apply in your life and actually apply it. So that's the most important thing you can do here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. As always, I love you. I'm gonna go look for that falcon now. I really hope it turned up in the video. That would be really cool, but I don't know if it did. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Oh, wow.